Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Skyblock News. I'm your host, Derailious. This is going to be a very weird episode because we're not really going to be talking about Skyblock too much. This is actually going to be focused on the announcement that Hytale is saved. Officially, it has been purchased by Simon and a bunch of people related to Simon as well. It seems like the goal is going to be getting out the game as fast as possible, and I just wanted to cover this and also talk about its relation to Hypixel and Hypixel Skyblock as well. Before we begin though, make sure to like, subscribe, use code RAIL on the Hypixel store for 5% off your order, and without further ado, let's get started. So Simon himself writes, a new and exciting chapter for Hytale begins today. We are thrilled to announce that we have acquired Hytale from Riot Games. While it didn't make sense for them to continue developing it in its existing form, they ultimately wanted what's best for players, and that's for us to eventually play a revised version of the game. We are grateful to Riot Games for making this possible. Over the past few weeks, we have rehired more than 30 developers who know this game inside and out, with additional returns expected in the coming days. Together, we are going back to the original vision for Hytale. We are fully independent and personally committed to funding Hytale for the next 10 years. Transactions like this are rare in the games industry. Thank you to everyone for keeping hope alive. Hytale is saved. Simon Collins Laflamme, founder, Hypixel. The TLDR for Hytale specifically is that an early access date will be announced in the coming days. The platform will be Windows at launch, with Linux and Mac being attempted later on. Pricing will be announced in the coming days. There will be an early access state with a lot of bugs, rough edges, unbalanced content, and frequent updates that will break things. And there will be a long early access period, so no rush to 1.0, it will be at least a few years. At launch, there will be an exploration mode, a creative mode, and modding, and there won't be minigames or adventure mode at launch. Those will come later. There's going to be a dedicated team for the minigames. They own 100% of Hytale, so there's no Riot Games owns a portion. They own 100%. They are funding it personally for 10 years with no investors or publishers. The game build is going to use the previous engine from the trailer, enabling faster development and immediate playability, and the modding will be available at launch. You can run your own servers and create custom content. Some of the other major points here from the blog post that I do want to go over, notably they talk about how they got here. They basically state that after the initial announcement of the cancellation of Hytale and that Hypixel Studios would wind down, they made an offer pretty much immediately without actually knowing the full state of the project. They dove in headfirst. They were talking about this concept of like no risk, no Hytale. They negotiated the deal pretty much immediately. They rehired 30 devs, they secured the funding, and they made the call to return to the old legacy engine and original vision. They talk about how they want it to be a passion project and one that they're personally committing funding for at least the next 10 years, which is pretty impressive, I've got to say. They also talk about the concept of starting small and growing with the community. They're going to be focusing on making a great game first rather than a perfect engine. They know the risk of releasing an unfinished product. Obviously the first impressions do matter, but it's a risk that they need to take because obviously they can't just wait around another 5 years to polish this game and get it perfect and then release it. It does eventually need to come out and does need to release so that they can use the community as a feedback source and continue to improve the game. They talk here a little bit more about the legacy engine, which was actually quite advanced from about 4 years ago. Later on, there was a cross-platform engine that was made that was been in development for about 3 years. However, they state it's extremely behind in terms of gameplay. It would basically take another 2 years before they could consider early access with the cross-platform engine, so they are going to be abandoning it and going to the legacy engine. It's playable right now. It lets them build a game rather than an engine, and it's the version that feels like what Hytale was supposed to be. They have plans to make it cross-platform later, but they are in no rush for it, and I think that's a good move. Cross-platform is not something that's absolutely necessary for something like this at the start, and obviously they're going to be working on a lot of improvements pretty much constantly. This is going to be a game pretty much fully in development, so it makes sense that they don't want to go for this cross-platform engine when it's obviously not even remotely ready. They're also moving into full production mode as they complete the transfer of Hytale. There will be accelerated development in the coming weeks, and there will also be patch notes in the coming days so we could see the full scope of improvements. They go over the team members here. They have Simon, Philippe, Kevin, and Patrick as some of the major leads and co-founders. Obviously, just a lot of talent from the original Hytale team, and also people that Simon has worked with specifically for a very, very long time. Finally, they also talk about a few things related to modding here. They talk about the fact that they want people to mod pretty much everything in Hytale. They want non-developers to be able to create impressive experiences with minimal technical knowledge. They want people to be able to get into this relatively easily. They want to provide server source code access within several months once they're legally able to do so. A lot of really good stuff here that should make modding in Hytale relatively easily. They basically state for us that they want us to play the game, report bugs, give honest feedback, create mods and content, be patient, and make guides and share knowledge with others. They talk about moving forward and where to find them. Basically, just follow them on all platforms, join their Discord. They do have a Discord, and they are also going to be releasing a bunch of footage and patch notes and other things as well, notably the release date for early access as well. And they talk at the end here, finally, related to stuff about their final thoughts and how they feel about Hytale. And the TLDR with this is that they are excited. They know that this is not going to be an easy thing to do, but they are willing to do it, and that is something I can appreciate. So now we're going to get into my thoughts about this and how it relates to Hypixel and Hypixel Skyblock. I'm going to be extremely honest and extremely blunt here. I, for one, did not really believe in Hytale whatsoever, even when I first saw it in terms of its initial release trailer and things like that. I never really thought that Hytale made a lot of sense in the market in terms of the games industry due to multiple reasons, whether that be because of other games like Roblox, whether that be because of games like Minecraft. I always felt like it was going to end up as something that wasn't going to be super popular, and its cancellation was not surprising to me in the slightest. However, I will say I very much admire Simon's resolve in trying to go after this and trying to chase this dream of a game that he wants to play, that he wants his kids in the future to play. That is a very noble thing to do, and saving this game and rehiring the developers and actually having a feel-good story in the games industry for once is something that I very much appreciate. And I, for one, will absolutely be checking out Hytale and seeing into this game and looking into it, because maybe there's something I missed in my initial analysis of things, from years ago, and maybe they're going to create an experience that really truly excites me and millions of other people. I don't want to, throw shade at them for trying something new and interesting, and especially doing it in this manner, I think is extremely cool. So I'm definitely going to be participating in this some way, shape, or form. Don't know if it's going to lead to video content. We'll see what happens, but for now, I'm definitely interested. In terms of Hypixel and Hypixel Skyblock, I don't see this as anything but a positive for both of them. Keep in mind, a lot of the team that he's rehired are not people who are working on the Hypixel network. They are people who worked on Hytale specifically at Riot and who were previously at Hypixel Studios. These are not people who are capable of making Minecraft content generally. These are people focusing on Hytale. There is a worry, and I agree there is a worry, about Simon's future with Hypixel and Hypixel Skyblock. He's already no daily ops there. Is it going to lead to him fully moving away from Hypixel Skyblock and Hypixel as a whole? If he does, I really hope he makes that public information as to who's going to be in charge, how things are going to operate for the server specifically. But for now, I am not worried. Generally, I don't think this is going to lead to a day-to-day change for the server at all. If anything, if there's a large amount of income from something like Hytale, some of that money could be utilized for the server specifically. Simon is the owner of both of those things, therefore he could take some of that profit, move it over, and maybe it leads to some benefits for us. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. That might not actually turn out to be the case, but for now, I am very tentatively excited. I'm looking forward to seeing an early release date, hopefully in the next few months for something like Hytale, and who knows? Maybe it'll end up being something really big and something very exciting. So let me know what you think down below. Are you excited? Are you looking forward to Hytale? How are you feeling about this? I think regardless, even if you think that this game is not going to be very interesting, it's definitely a feel-good story for the gaming industry as a whole. This was going to be a lot of people who lost their jobs. Let's be real here. Him being able to take back control of the game and rehire a bunch of these developers and hire a bunch more, get these people, jobs where they're able to actually create the product that they've been trying to make for years, I think that's wonderful. So I'm very excited to see this. Congratulations, Simon, on being able to purchase back. Congratulations, everybody who's been rehired to the project or been added to the project. I hope you guys make a great game, and I would love to hear what you guys think who are watching this video in the comments down below. Hytale is saved. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you all so much for watching. My name's Derailious, and look to the future, fellas. I'll see you then.